I was tagged in this post in the X Red Pill subreddit. And even as I read the title, when I got to the part of benevolent patriarchy, it just rankled my spirit. And I'm going to read it and I'm going to try not to editorialize it because I want you to type what you're feeling as I'm reading this. All right, so for the post. The church I grew up in was pretty hot on gender roles. Personally, I think people should do what they like and there's no right or wrong answer. The model of patriarchal masculinity I was exposed to was the idea that the man sacrifices for, protects and provides for his wife and children, whom he treasures, whilst maintaining high moral standards and building up his family and community. The model of femininity was that a woman adores and supports her husband and is his refuge from the storms of the world and ensures that he always feels he is the king of his home with the virtues of pleasantness, agreeableness, and being joyfully devoted to the raising of the children. I have not been much exposed to the Manosphere other than through pop culture, but I feel like it would be better described as quite toxic and misogynistic, individualistic, and harmful to men and to society. The type of views and behaviors I see represented would be condemned by the masculinity I previously described as crass, ungentlemanly, destructive, and the opposite of the idea of your Atticus Finch type of wise man who has high standing in his family and community because of his virtues and sense of service rather than individualism. My question is, why did it go this way? I have a few thoughts, but none fleshed out, as I'm pretty unfamiliar with all of this. One, the loss of male role models to steer men into positive/benevolent masculine identities of strength of character and valuing women. Two, the reduction in the need for men to be benevolently patriarchal and assume those character traits and values due to increased economic independence for women and a loss of the place of men in the family and community in that social roles have become unisex. 3, exposure to toxic content that provides a sense of purpose, community, and vindication for boys and young men unhappy with their life circumstances, paired with the rise of algorithmic content that can easily radicalize people. I wonder what people who have thought about this more than I have think. Wasn't sure where to post this, so if anyone can suggest another suitable sub, please let me know. And then this is where I was tagged in by Daisy Duke saying, benevolent patriarchy is still patriarchy. So to her on this post, like right after I read this, I said, this is aggravating and thanks for the tag. I got to formulate why I'm so irritated. I don't get why they think we want any kind of patriarchy. Like, is a benevolent slaveholder better than a regular one? Probably, but they all still enslave people. Same with patriarchy. So that was like, after I typed that, I had to sit down with myself and think about all of these words and what all of this meant. Like, is benevolent patriarchy any better than any other kind of patriarchy? Is benevolent patriarchy better than toxic masculinity? And to me, it really isn't any different. But let's get into some of these comments because some of the things that I'm feeling does come out, and I do type up a more fleshed out comment, or at least a little bit more. King Kunta 2 says, I think I have the answer. What is late stage capitalism? And you've also answered your own question as well in numbers 1 and 2. If benevolent patriarchy has ever valued women, like you say, it valued them as commodities to be sold, not as people to be heard or understood. I'm getting this view from the Bible. I was very Christian back in the day. And really, what value is there for a protector provider man these days? If you're threatened by trouble, call the cops. If women need money, they get a job and earn a living. By the laws of supply and demand, the demand for protector provider males is nothing but a discretionary luxury good, borderline a sexual kink at this point. I'm not exactly sure what this whole question is, but King Kunta says, which way, Western male? Be a nice, emotionally mature person who's sociable and dresses well, or be yourself unhealed without a care in the world for anyone outside of arm's reach, and use your wealth and earning potential to get you the attention you think you deserve, but never will get love. The OP honed in on this part. If benevolent patriarchy has ever valued women like you say, to say, I think it could go either way. You could see a wife as an accessory to a successful life, or a person you delight in spending time with because her smile lights up the room and her sense of humor makes you forget your worries. To that, I'm like, Jesus, you're either an accessory or you're like a toy that lights up the whole room. Oh my God, either way, both of those are terrible. And to Daisy Duke is the person that tagged me. She says, a goddamn human being. Women are a goddamn human being. And then she says, you are no better than the red pillars. And then Rainbow Glass, the OP says, learn to read to the end of the sentence. But even to the end of the sentence dehumanizes women to being something to behold and to entertain, like you're a little monkey entertaining some. Oh my gosh. Regardless, this is terrible. Even if you read to the end of the sentence, all of this just rankles my spirit. Spaceship Woohoo says, not really an answer to your question, but benevolent patriarchy doesn't really exist, though. That's the point. All forms of patriarchy impose a structure of hierarchy based on gender and sex, and one of the feminist main goals is dismantling the patriarchy in all its forms. Yes, that is it. The situation you're describing is not really beneficial for women anyway. Sure, they were protected against the most gross forms of abuse, sex work, poverty, etc., but they were not protected against their own husbands, brothers, and fathers. They were very much seen as expendable and as a tool to shine light on their husband and his achievements. Adoring her husband is way too romantic of an image of what these marriages usually were: convenient, arranged, no love involved. Importantly, I think this system not even benefited men as much as red pillars want us to believe. There is a strong sense of man up, suck it up, be a man under this benevolent patriarchy. A man's only purpose was to make money and provide. In the end, I think this is very detrimental to someone's mental health and capacity for introspection. Another problem is that men under this system were not really held to a high moral standard, as you say they were. It was perfectly fine for a man to cheat, gamble, hit his wife and children, and get drunk all the time. Sure, if these problems became too public, he would get a slap on the wrist, but that was about it. The church has always held women to way higher standards than men and has upheld these double standards for centuries. The church has presented subservience and modesty, women should be seen and not heard, as a biblical truth for women, completely disregarding biblical women like Esther, Jael, Ruth, Dorcas, and Priscilla. Again, this is not really an answer to your question, but I think there are plenty of red pill guys who want the sort of Christian-inspired patriarchy you're describing. All of that. High five. I agree with all of that. This person at the bottom says, because a lot of them get to this point since they have failed in dating. They're mad at women. So-called benevolent patriarchy has a ton of problems too, though. So here's my commentary on it. The phrase benevolent patriarchy is irritating because it tries to frame a fundamentally unequal and oppressive system as beneficial. Trying to reframe oppression is like adding some potpourri to a jail cell. There's still inequality, male hierarchies, and systemic oppression rooted in patriarchy and often reinforced by religion. And that ain't wiped away with a gentle smile despite having the same ideology. To me, this is also like the difference between a covert racist and an overt racist. I prefer the overt racist, the one that is clear where they stand. The covert one is more dangerous because their intentions are hidden. That's where I feel about it, because benevolent patriarchies, patriarchs still want to keep men elevated, men in the leadership roles. It's just doing it with a slightly different cadence to their voice. Maybe they're not just outright smacking women around in public, but they still reinforce the exact same ideologies. And like I said in another post or another comment on this post, the reason why men might go towards the red pill is just because the messagings are different. Benevolent patriarchy, regular patriarchy, and toxic masculinity, they're all pretty much the same thing, just slightly different talking points. Y'all, go ahead and weigh in. What do you think about all of this? Join the conversation, like, comment, and share. I came across this post from Menacing Squirrel, and it goes perfectly with the other things that we talk about. Menacing Squirrel says, y'all know many of these men are red pill incels, yet here you are, laboring in their role play kinks for free. That's why they hop in your comments like clockwork. They're not debating, they're getting off. Are you Mother Teresa now? Because the way you keep offering free emotional services to grown men who hate women is looking real missionary. Close the charity, lock the gates, let them choke on their own rage in silence. That's the reason why we talk about blocking people and blocking people quickly. Because sometimes the only people that they have to talk to is people that are going back and forth with them angrily, like, and then they're sitting up here delighting in your anger. Block them and block them quicker. She continues with, it's assault. Stop letting men project their unresolved humiliation kinks onto you and calling it a debate. It's not intellectual, it's not productive, it's a non-consensual, energetic scene you never agreed to. Take a pause, look within, ask yourself why you keep stepping into roles that drain you, why you keep showing up to fight men who need the fight to feel something. That's not empowerment, that's emotional exploitation disguised as engagement. Reclaim your energy, reclaim your role. And this whole part talking about exploitation disguised as engagement, this is one of the reasons why I don't go back and forth with these men. And it is honestly one of the reasons why I probably don't grow as quick, because I don't engage with these people, especially if they come across as red pill, manosphere, any kind of sexism. We have to shut that down because they are not here in our comment section to grow and learn from women or anything. No, they just want to keep on spouting the same uncreative 3 to 7 talking points that the person with 2 brain cells typed up 10 years ago, and they refuse to upgrade the talking points. Like literally, they all say the exact same thing. Oh, she continues, let these fools fantasize in silence. You're not their dom, you're not their priestess, you're not their effing plaything. There's rules to this many are unaware of. I believe in naming a thing so you can get informed and set yourself free. All right, so then the Unique Dream says, I absolutely love your posts. I start smiling before I even read them. Have a wonderful night. And I really do think that this is some truth, but it does just kind of reinforce it reinforces not giving them energy. They do set out to drain us in many different ways. And even when they are not dating a woman, they find their fix somewhere. And their somewhere is a lot of the times in social media spaces. So, and I've said this before, if these men are coming across in ways that you wouldn't allow someone that's in your home to talk to you crazy, don't allow them to talk to you crazy in your social media spaces either. I'm segueing into a different post from the Amber Renee. So Amber says, when divorced men say, she took me for everything, what they actually mean is she took away everything that helped him succeed while she was being siphoned so he could build his empire on the back of an exhausted woman. Free labor, nanny, childcare, emotional support, clean home, stocked fridge, meals, sex, etc. They mean she took everything that helped me thrive, aka her labor and energy. Now, while it is different than what the Menacing Squirrel was saying, it's still within the same vein because these men know how to tap the resources that women give, and women are very valuable for all of these reasons. And we say these things so that we can know and understand how much value we do have, even as they try to devalue us. And it is important to say these things out loud because women are walking away from marriage. They're walking away and they're getting divorced. And when they get divorced, they're taking what they deserved. Men think that women are just out here to snatch away everything that they have. But a lot of the things that they have are because of the women in their life doing the support things, the foundational things that make their lives easier. And when they snatch that away and their world crumbles, then they act like she just took everything. Well, maybe you should have supported her, loved her the way that she needed to be loved, and she wouldn't be walking away. Melanie says she took everything she deserved for her uncompensated labor for years/decades. And to that, Amber says exactly, especially since most women walk away having to start over, living in survival mode, heal emotionally and financially, and regulate their nervous systems after all that stress. Being in a terrible relationship will drain you emotionally, physically, financially, all of that, and you have to replenish all of that. But once a woman does heal in all of those ways, that's the reason why so many women experience a glow up after a sucky relationship. Stormy Rainbow Lady says, often as a single parent too. Amber says, yes, very true. Reese says, I don't think women understand what free labor means, especially if you're referring to a stereotypical housewife dynamic. If he is paying for everything you need, then you're not working for free. Plus, it's also your house, kids, etc. that you're taking care of. I don't mind the idea of paying child support and maybe splitting resources in a divorce, but alimony really bothers me. He needs to upkeep your standard of living, but you are not required to upkeep his standard of living. Seems unfair. Yes, because you're a man. Yes. These people don't seem to understand that when a woman stays home from work to benefit the whole household, that means that she's taking a hit on her career and her future earnings. And if these people don't get this, that's the reason why they need to just stay unmarried. Plus, most women do not receive alimony, and most women are not housewives. I really wish they would lose this idea, but they won't. So I hope people don't go back and forth with him. Muskoka says, you have forgotten an important point in your argument, and that is all the work that a woman does for the household doesn't mean anything on her resume when she gets a divorce and looks for a job. She rarely has the earning power of the man, whereas the man's earning power is unaffected. That's the reality, and the longer she stays home, the worse her job prospects are. So alimony until she gets on her feet is what is fair, plus half of everything because it was a partnership. And to that, Reese says, that's why I'm all for women working and contributing to the household. Who am I to hinder her career growth? Doesn't matter how much money I make. We in this together. We contribute together. They say that when it comes to finances, but they don't say that where it comes to the household work, the child care, the chores, all of that. And that's why Muskoka says yes, and that means that you will also take on 50% of all. I'm so glad that all of these women are saying the same things. All right, she says yes, and that means that you will also take on 50% of all household duties, including that of looking after the children. Also, when your children are ill, you will take sick days from work, as will the woman. By the way, your phrase working and contributing to the household shows that your idea of contribution is financial. Women always contribute to the household, whether working outside of the home or in, or both. And Reese says, agreed, I'll take the deal. Anyways, this man and some of his commentary is basically what men are always saying, but they do always just land on the financial aspects. They don't see the labor in the home as labor. And that's the reason why so many women keep saying these same things. I've never come across Muskoka, but Muskoka is saying very similar things because this is the type of thing, that's the point of contention that women are speaking on very loudly these days, is you're going to do more inside of the house, not just outside of the house, because the work inside the house, especially when the children are young, is ongoing. There's no breaks, there's no holidays. So there needs to be some equity within the home. All right, y'all, let me know what you think about these two thread posts. Join the conversation, block quicker, detach from people that are doing more sucking of your time, energy, and resources, and not enough pouring back into you when there's no reciprocity. Let me know what you think. I was sent this post, and it's important to have this discussion about what happens or what could happen or what does happen more prevalently when a wife gets sick versus like when a husband gets sick. A sick husband will have a devoted wife help, bring him back to health. But when a woman gets sick, her man could leave. So that's why it's important to have this conversation. She posted this in the Am I Overreacting subreddit saying, am I overreacting? Husband said he'd leave me because I'm ill. He flat out said it. And even if he added a little chuckle at the end, that is probably where his head is. And it would behoove her to actually listen. Okay, to the post. They're both 28. She says, I've been with my husband for just over 10 years. I've become ill lately. Doctors suspect ME. She does describe that below. I'll get to that in a little bit. All right, doctors suspect ME, something I'm on the waiting list for. My husband has always been very supportive. Lately, I have been unwell, and a U.S. scan showed my inguinal lymph node has reacted to a potential infection I've had, something the doctor said might be because ME can cause a weaker immune system. After 2 months, it hasn't gone down, and if anything, fluid is building up around it. They've advised another scan, but the node may be scarred and causing the fluid to build up. They think the next step is plastic surgery to see what they can do about it. It was mentioned that depending on the damage that the node is removed. I've been warned that I need to keep a healthy lifestyle and wait to avoid fluid buildup in my legs. This next part is very sad. He says, my husband keeps joking, saying if I get fat legs, he's leaving because it's ugly. It shot my confidence way down, but he said he's only being truthful. He's only being truthful. So listen to what he says. Am I overreacting by being upset about this? Absolutely not. He said he's going to leave you. I'm the type of person who goes to the gym and overall does look after themselves, so the chance of fluid building up to a crazy potential is very slim. But this dude has been by my side through thick and thin, and it's fat legs that's going to make him run in the other direction. And he's given you notice. He has let you know to be on guard or to put safeguards in place or to plan because he might bolt. So what are you going to do about that? And like Key 2 says, he's shown you who he is. Believe him. He said he is being truthful. I am going to leave you if you get fat legs. And then Key 2 says, info, what is ME? Okay, here's the OP saying, I should have expanded on this, sorry. Myalgic encephalomyelitis. Myalgic encephalomyelitis, also called chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME or CFS, is a long-term condition that can affect different parts of the body. Most common symptoms is extreme tiredness. The cause of ME or CFS is unknown. Affectionate Mink says, as someone who has that, it doesn't get any better. He's not joking. He might not leave you. Mine certainly didn't. He just made me sicker. For 7 years, he kept me so stressed out that I was in and out of the hospital. I was spending 3 to 4 days a week doing physical therapy in clinics, seeing a pain doctor. I finally left him, and wouldn't you know, I still get sick. I'm still in pain, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was. And I consider myself the unlucky one because he didn't leave me. My best friend got multiple sclerosis and her husband left her, which cleared the way for the rest of us to step in and take better care of her than had he been. See, and that's one of the things that women have to continue to consider. We are literally a wife appliance, and sometimes you may malfunction. Sometimes you may just need someone may just need to get a newer version. But that is how these people treat you when they dehumanize you to the point where they say, I will leave you if. When they don't see the humanity in you, where they don't care if you gotten sick or not. And he has told her this early on so she can make other plans. You Mommy Fiend says, I'm so mad at him. I get that he's scared about what changes will occur in your life with chronic illness, but what did he think in sickness and in health meant actually? Exactly. We all get old, our bodies change, things happen we don't want to, illnesses occur. He told you his love is conditional on how you look. That hurts deeply. He's worried you're going to gain weight in your legs. You could drop 250 pounds by dumping him. What's this BS about people saying nasty things, then saying, I'm just being honest? Like that's some get out of jail free card. He's sucky, he's being sucky, and he's making his presence conditional. That's gross. I hope you have many healthy years and that you do what's best for you and your health, OP. Party Belt says the definition has already been posted, but I wanted to add, unfortunately, from my own experience, ME is among the most cruel illnesses there are. Even mild ME reduces your life to around 50% of what it was before. Severe ME makes you permanently bedbound, and some very severely affected can't tolerate any stimuli such as noise, light, conversations, etc. Quality of life is often compared to end stage of AIDS. And the worst thing is that there's zero approved treatment because it's been neglected by science and politics for decades. And lots of people still claim it's all in your head, which couldn't be further from the truth. Batgirl says, not overreacting. I have ME as well for nearly 7 years, diagnosed 3 years ago. I feel your pain and I'm sorry for everything you're going through. ME is a terrible and isolating illness, and you need to surround yourself with people who see you, believe you, and support you in your illness, not put you down. It is a sad but true fact that many spouses, husbands typically, since ME is more prevalent in women, leave because of how life-changing the illness is. I'm not saying your husband will, I don't know him, but perhaps he needs to understand how damaging his words can be. I am house and mostly bedbound. I have crashes where I become unable to move and speak. How I look has been pushed so far down the list. Sometimes days pass before I have enough energy to take a shower. Don't push yourself to the point where you become more ill. Pacing is so vital and important. My immediate family still doesn't understand how hard our everyday life is. I will say that my husband is so incredibly supportive, and I know I'm lucky to have him. If your husband isn't, please speak with him, have him educate himself, or try to find counseling or therapy to understand chronic illnesses. Find someone in your life you can lean on, and a therapist as well. Mine has been a lifesaver for me. Even though my husband has been amazing, the medical system has been the complete opposite. I feel so bad for what the medical system does to women especially, because they don't really support women and research our bodies. They seem to think that we're just an extension of men, just like smaller men, and they don't research us and they don't believe women. And unsupportive people in your life could make you sicker. And then I'm going to end with this last screenshot. Adventurous Maze says, they train nurses and doctors to prepare wives when they become critically ill, that there is a high probability that their husband will leave. It happens so often. It's part of their professional training. I need you to hear that. You need to start building your support system of women around you now. Family, sisters, girlfriends, and or other organizations that you will be involved with. Also use hospital resources. Damn it, Mr. Noodle says, that's so sad, but I totally believe it. My current husband is a gem, but my ex would have been the type to bail if I got cancer or something equally awful. I got sick with Lyme disease and he became insufferable. Some men just can't handle anything that inconveniences them or takes focus away from their needs. Some of the things that women have to consider in life is terrible, but first and foremost, having a sense of survival and a sense of self-preservation is important. If you already know that someone has told you, I will leave you if X, Y, and Z happens, please know and understand that. Don't take this as something to play around with. Know and understand that their love is conditional and they will leave because they told you. And then, like this person says, it's part of their training to speak about how husbands treat sick wives. Embody this, know this, and plan for yourself so that you're not scrambling when you do get sick, and that you have your plans B, C, D, E, F, G, elemental P in line already if these things do happen. Let me know what you think. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. We need this palate cleanser. We need to see that, yes, I do recognize that there are some men who value their ladies, who uplift them. They're their cheerleaders. So go ahead and watch this. We definitely need that after this last video we just had.
What do you think? I think that looks great. That's a nice fit. Yes, very professional. It's fire, actually. 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
It's a fire fit.
Oh, thank you. Shoe and yes or no?
Yes. Left shoe.
Without looking at my toes.
Left shoe.
These.
Match your shirt. But yes, that's very nice.
But with a belt. Do I look like a Grello girl?
No. You look like a OC housewife.
If it's giving housewife, that's good.
Yeah.
I want to generate housewife, but like businesswoman. I don't know what
Black pants.
Black pants with this?
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Okay.
Very professional. I like that.
What about these shoes?
We're all showing on this side though.
It's because this stupid skinless bra is terrible.
Yes.
It's for the shoes.
Yes. Immediately, yes. That looks great.
Okay.
Black is your color.
Thank you.
Do a spin for me. Yes, and thank you. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very distinguished.
Thank you.
It's giving.
It's giving? What does it give?
Something. But it's giving. I don't know what else you say after that, but it's giving a lot.
It's giving a lot. Okay.